Welcome to another live stream that I'm going to do here tonight, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. I mean, first off, one thing you might not know is I just finally accepted a job offer, and this job offer is actually $72,000 annually. That's pretty darn sick. So, but one thing is this job is actually going to require me to know how to do three-dimensional designing. Now, they say you don't really have to literally know how to make things, but they want you to at least know how to use basic 3D graphic software. So I decided, you know what, let's go back and tackle something that I did that I was kind of playing with a long time ago, but never really got too in depth. After watching a few like kind of video tutorials online and stuff, I decided, you know what, let's go ahead and try doing something. So I decided, let's design an infinity cube. Now, if you don't know what an infinity cube is an infinity cube will just constantly keep unfolding itself, like so. Now, this cube here isn't the one that we're actually designing, okay? This one was found online. I decided to download it and print it just to have something to fidget around with. But we're using this as a reference because, honestly, if you've never really messed with one of these, it can be a little confusing to remember, like, how do I set it up? Like, how should I have everything sitting? Generally, like, what should be where. What's going to be different in our design compared to this design, if you notice, it has like two little joint pieces here. It's honestly one joint that's actually conjoined. It's kind of interesting, whoever designed this, how they made their design, because what looks like two joints is actually one joint. The main reason why they did that is to make it be a more advanced 3D print. Now, our design would be able to 3D print with kind of the same way as this, where all you have to do is, once you're done printing and pulled it off the board, all you got to do is just snap it, and it'll begin breaking loose any supports that it had. So, yeah. So, let's hop to, first off, I'm going to show you what the final product actually looks like in Fusion 360. So, let me get the monitor and the camera up here. So this is kind of what my final product looks like. So this is, it might look like it might take a long time, but honestly, it might take you up to an hour if you do it right. I saw one video tutorial of someone else trying to make their own version of the Fidget Cube. What they did was they actually made like 4 items. So they did a lot more work than they really needed to. The whole time I was screaming at the TV, or screaming at the video, like, dude, why are you doing all of that? All you have to do is do a mirror plane off of just one of these. So this is what our final product will look like. But we're going to start completely from scratch. Honestly, part of doing this video is also like to sample like how did I do this product myself, so I can go back and be like, oh, I know I did something when I made that fidget cube, but what was like, how did I do it? I somehow mirrored the plane so I can make it to where I just did this one. I just did these two pieces alone, and then I was able to mirror this way and then mirror that way. So how did we do that? That's the reason why I make videos like this, is to help me, but also to pass my knowledge that I have off to other people, because I love to share my knowledge. So let's hop to it. We're gonna have to create us a new document. And where are you? Actually, we don't need to go that. Go file, new design. Okay, so we have a new blank template here. First thing I like to do is turn on the origin. Now, whenever you're doing a 3D design, you have to kind of create a sketch by using one of the planes. So planes are kind of like surface in space, and I always like to think of I'm looking at it like this. So this kind of going to be the way we're going to be looking at it right now. Okay, this is how we're going to have our final product look if it was on the screen. So what we're going to do first is we're going to select this plane here, or we're going to go top down, hit the top button up in the top right corner there, or go to your cube in the top right corner. Something I like to do is use that cube, just click the top, and then we're going to be perfectly like right on top of our space. And we're going to create a sketch and select that pane, and then we're going to go create a 2-point rectangle. And the way I like to do it is I always like to start with that midpoint right there. I like to start right on the point, drag it out, and it don't matter how square we have it right now. All you do is just set it down, and that kind of jacked up. It didn't work right. I sometimes hate when I do that. Let's redraw this pane here. Or I'm sorry, not redraw the pane, redraw the square. There we go. So get it out. Some don't actually click yet, just have it hang out. And then what I like to do is I type in the size in millimeters. And in this case, we're going to be making it be 40 millimeters, which is 4 centimeters. So it's almost a little bit bigger than an inch. And honestly, this is kind of more 2 centimeters. So this was made by 20 millimeters. The nice thing about 3D printing is you can make something be almost any size. And then you can go into the printing software, or like the encoding software that will make the code for the printer, and it will you can actually resize it to whatever size you want it to be. So right now we're just doing it like this. We set our width to 40. I'm going to hit the tab key, and then I'm going to hit 40 again. So we have a 40 by 40 square. Now I'm going to hit enter. And if I zoom out to a pretty good distance here, there we go. So now we have a 40 by 40 square. So yeah, we have a square. We'll finish that. We're going to select our square that we just did. We're going to hit the Q key, and this is going to activate the extrude. So Q for extrude. Don't ask me why. And we're going to put in 40 as well. And hit enter. Now if I go to a 3D view, you can either go up here and use this cube and drag it around. I like to hold the shift key and just push my middle mouse button. You'll see we have a full 3-dimensional cube sitting here. For now I'm going to shut off the origin. Leave it like that. And next thing what we're going to do is we're going to make a curved edge. So this cube kind of has like curved edges here. Rather than just having it be on the sides that are actually going to be doing turns and stuff, we're going to make all corners be curved. So here's how we'll do that. We're going to select all the corners by holding Control and then clicking all the edges. We're going to get these this side too. Now, if you know this, I'm really new to this, so if you know better tricks than I do, then don't be judging me. I mean, I'm still pretty new. This is honestly like the first design I actually made really on my own in Fusion 360. So once we have all our corners selected, we're going to select what's called fillet here. If you don't see fillet, one trick is you can hit the S key and then it's going to pull up toolbox, and then you can type in fillet. Now we're going to select the fillet, and we're going to set it to be 5 millimeters. So 5 millimeters. And as you see, our whole cube just kind of starts looking like a nice round piece. Let's just go around it real fast, make sure all the sides got curved right. Looks good. So we'll go ahead and hit enter. So the 5 millimeter setting is saying like from where that edge was to here. So it's not saying like it's going to be a 5 millimeter diameter. It's going to be a 5 millimeter radius in that curve. So the radius for that curve, a radius is from the middle to the edge of a circle. So the radius will be 5 millimeters. So let's go to the next part here. Is now that we have this figured out, we're going to add a second cube. So I'm going to turn the origin back on so I can see where I'm at. And our second cube, all we have to do is just select the body, copy it, and paste it. And then we're going to drag this out, and we're going to leave a 2 millimeter gap between the two. So all you have to do is like start dragging. You can have it stop here, and then down here you're going to type in 42. Okay, and hit enter. Now we have a 2 millimeter gap in between the two cubes. Generally, I think this design has a 1 millimeter gap. It might have a 0 millimeter gap. I don't know. But we're going to have it be a 2 millimeter gap just for crafting purposes. Now we are we kind of have our two cubes that we're going to be using as our general platform. So all we have to do, we only have to craft off the two cubes, and then we're going to use something called mirroring to make the rest of our cubes. So we're making two cubes, and then the rest are going to be doing what's called a mirror. So first set we're going to do, or first thing we need to do is we need to actually make space for our joints, okay? So we have to make an opening for our joint to sit in. So I'm going to have this sit here so I can look at that. So the first joint we'll do is going to be this one here. We're going to select this side of the cube. We'll zoom in some here. Okay, we're going to make a new sketch, and then we're going to create a new rectangle. This rectangle, the height is going to be 20, and the width is going to be 15. Now, right now it doesn't look centered. Don't worry about that, because what we're going to do is we're going to hit the D key now that we have this made, and this is called the dimensioner. We're going to select our line, and then we're going to select this line. Okay, so the line we just made, and then this line up here, and this is going to be a gap of 5. First you got to set that there. Make that be a gap of 5. Now we're going to be perfectly centered right here. If I did that to that, it'll come out as being a 5. We want to make sure that from here to here it would be 10. But honestly, we pretty much know it is. But I'll just go ahead and do it anyway, just to see, so you can see how dimensioner works. And as you see, it's already set to a 10. So perfect. Now what we're going to do is hit the Q key, just like we did with making a cube in the first place. In this case, Fusion 360 is smart enough to where, like, if your sketch goes right through another line, it's going to break your new sketch into two pieces. So you have to click one part and then press Control and click the other one. Then you can hit your Q key, or I'm sorry, it's already been selected. We're going to now make it go into the cube so that it creates an empty hole. So we have to do -15 because our depth is 15, we kind of want that to be the same going vertical and horizontal. So we put in negative 15 because we're going down. We'll hit enter. And now if I look over here, you'll see we have this big opening right here. So a nice big opening gap. So that's looking pretty good so far there. Now I could go ahead and start making a joint here, but I want to make the rest of these holes first. I just find it a little easier making all the holes, and then we'll go on to the joints, just so I can remember what was the measurements that I needed. So for this next one, we're going to just click on this pane, or I'm sorry, this side of our cube. We're going to create another rectangle. Now for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to make it actually go across both of these. And we're going to make it be a total of, let me see, it was 32. Okay, because we have that 2 millimeter gap in the middle, and we want it hanging 15 on each side. Okay, so 32, 20, enter. Now we go to our dimensioning. We'll select this line to this line, and that was a 5. And then we're going to go this line to this line, and that is a 10. Okay, so now we got that set. Now we can go back to the queue. We're going to select that and that, and we are making it a negative 15 again. Enter. And as you see, we got that same little groove again, almost like how we did up here. It's just this time we did 2 together. Alright, and now the final one that we have to do is going to be on the bottom, and that's going to be this joint here. So we go down here, we'll click on the bottom. You got to double check, make sure you're in the right spot. Don't be just going in. Make sure you know that you're on the bottom and this is where you want to be, because when you hit that bottom button here, you're not sure, like, oh, am I going the right way? Is it this one or is it that one I'm trying to get to? But I know now, like, this is the one I'm after. So I'm going to select that pane. That I always want to say pane. We're going to select this side of the cube, create a sketch again. This time we make our square. It's going to be 15 and 20. Enter. Dimensioner. We're going to select this to here is going to be 5, and here to here will also be 5. Okay, so that's been selected. Now we can go ahead and do our filling. Negative 15, clear, and there we go. So now our cube is, we kind of have all these gaps created now. So we have gap here, gap here, gap here, and gap here. Next thing we would do is we're going to craft our joints. So the first joint I want to craft is just going to be this one here. And to do that, what we have to do is we have to draw off of this pane again. So we select the pane. We're going to hit new sketch. Well, actually first select new sketch and then select your pane. Now when I draw here, when I make my square, we're not drawing on that surface, we're actually drawing on the pane. Now for this one, it's going to be a little tricky because you got to do some math here. We should have a total of 32 here. We want it to be exactly 30 so that we have a millimeter on each end to give some little play space. So we're going to make it be a total of 30. Okay. And then our gap from here to here is going to be 18. Okay. We'll hit enter there. And we're going to go to dimensioner. We're going to select this line and this line. And that's going to be at value of 1. Why did that just do that? Hold on, hold on. Oh, that's not right. Undo that. I want this to this should be... let's undo that. We'll have to redraw our paint. Okay, here we go. Dimensioner, why is this highlighted like that? Select this. And this. Because it didn't draw on our pane like it should have. Hold on. We have to undo that told sketch. Okay. Delete that sketch. There we go. So let's redo that. That was a little bit of a mess up. Hit the plus sign here. Select their pane. And why is it not letting me select my pane? There we go. Well, we just kind of started our rectangle. We'll just use that pane there. We'll do this. Then we'll, oh gosh darn it. Not supposed to do that yet. Okay, come on. On the pane, hopefully. Okay, so it's on the pane this time. 30 by 18. Enter. Now, dimensioner. Select to select. And that's going to be a value of 1. And then we're going to go this one to this one. That's going to be a value of 1. Okay, so we got that selected, and as you see, this is elevated right now. It's not actually drawing on that surface, so that's kind of what I was trying to do. I was having some technical difficulties there. Hit the Q. Now select our pane, and rather than making it be 15, we're making it 14 for the depth. Okay, enter that, and as you see, we have us a square here. And here's the problem: that having that square shape, it's not giving us enough space to where we can bend it. It's going to be kind of just joining up. So what we have to do is we have to make the ends of this be curved. And it's almost like what we did in the first step with the cube, but we're only curving the 2 ends rather than all 4 ends. So in order to see the ends here, we just have to hide the bodies of the cubes. And we're going to select the corners. Oops. Gotta make sure you have press and hold your control key when you do this. Okay, so we should have 4 corners selected. Okay, and again, we're going to use our fillet tool, and we're going to make that be, because it's 14. Okay, so from here to here, it's 14. We're going to take 14 divided by 2, so it's a perfect round edge. And that's going to be a total of 7. So make it be 7. And you see we have a perfectly round edge. Hit OK. Next thing, we need to create a joint. Because if this is just sitting in the body right now, there's nothing holding it there. It's just going to fly right out. It's going to be like a bunch of pieces. So we have to make it so that this piece will somehow be connected to this piece. So we have to have some sort of joiner tool that will make it so that it can't come out. Okay? So, let's hide our bodies again. And we're going to select this pane, which is the top. I'm sorry, I always say it's a pane, but it's not a pane. Now, we're going to create a sketch. I'm going to hit C for circle. Usually circle's showing up here, but for some reason I accidentally moved it. And it jacked up. Now, what you want to do is feel around in here, try to find where this little circle will appear, okay? Because this is where it's going to be a perfectly round circle at. So just find that little circle. When that appears, hit the selection, and then we're going to set this to be 8. Okay, so it's going to be an 8mm circle. We'll hit enter. We're going to make a second circle, And you're going to find that same hole over here. So play around, try finding that hole right there. Make that be an 8 again. Okay. Now we're going to hit Q. We're going to select both of these because they're both going to be the same depth. And we're going to make them be 5. Okay. And there we go. So now we have these pegs here. And what these pegs will do is when I make my bodies appear. And again, I'm on the wrong side. Those pegs will go into the body. So here's the next challenge. Yeah, those pegs are going straight into the body, but they're just gonna when that prints, it's gonna be acting as one whole solid piece rather than two separate pieces that'll be free and loose to jiggle. Like if we just stopped here and said, "Okay, we're done," no, then we're just gonna have a solid straight piece. So what we have to do is we have to now go on to these cubes and create our joint, or create holes. But we're going to skip over that for the moment because I want to make the rest of these joiner pieces, and then we'll make all the holes that are going into these cubes. So we're going to come up here to this corner here, and we're going to make a... actually, no, this is the bottom. We'll save that one for... Well, actually... No, we'll leave it. We'll go ahead and do the bottom here real fast. So I'm going to select the bottom. And we're going to rotate it just so I can see a lot more here. There we go. All right, so for the bottom piece here, we have to first create our sketch. Select our pane. Create our sketch. We're going to create a 2-point rectangle again. And this one's going to be a little different. Rather than doing a full 30 millimeters, 32 millimeters like we did on the other one. I'm sorry, it's 30. 30 millimeters like we did on the other one. We're making this one be a 15 by 18. Okay. Let me make sure we're on the right spot here. Now with our dimensioner, we're going to select here to here. Make that equal 1. Okay, and then here to here. Make that equal 1. Okay. Now we're going to go Q. And we're going to go 14. Alright. So, if you pay attention here, you see how it kind of hangs off a bit? That's hanging off by 1 millimeter. So that's kind of being half of this. So on this piece, what we're going to do, rather than doing a curve on all 4 sides, we're only going to do a curve on this side. So I'll go ahead and hide this cube, and I'm just going to hover over it for a second. It's body 2, so we'll hide that cube. And we're going to select this line and this line. Now we're going to go ahead and do our fillet again, being 7 millimeters. Okay. Now we got that. Now we're going to go ahead and do our 2 circles that we did. Craft. C for circle. And try finding that midpoint. If we can. Come on. Okay, that should be the top middle. There it is. Alright. Make that be 8. Okay. Q. Select 5. Enter. Shift. There we go. We got that little peg hanging out there. Click on this one. Drag that down a little. Hold on a second. Just got a little itch in the ear. Make another sketch. Circle. Again, find that little hole right there. Go for 8. Enter. And Q for extrude. Put it at 5. And done. Now I'm going to go ahead and make the cube reappear again. And there we go. So there we go. So we have a half a joint here. What's going to happen later, we're going to do what's called a mirror, and what's going to happen is when we do that mirror, it'll actually fully make that whole piece on the opposite side, okay? And it'll actually make it be one single piece, almost like how it looks right there. So it's pretty cool how Fusion works. I kind of like, I like how that feature works. Okay, so now this is where it's going to get a little tricky, okay? Because when we're making our pane or our sketch, we want it to be like up on this level. But if we draw on here, it's going to think that it's actually part of this body, and it causes a problem. It won't generate a whole new body because it thinks it's part of this one. So what we have to do is we have to do a construct. So construct here, and we have to select the pane, and in this case we want to make a new pane all the way up here. So we're going to select this pane, and actually a cool trick, actually, you could select this surface here, and then we can drag it up. And we want it to be at 40 millimeters. That one's still this pane that we're messing with here. We're going to leave it at that. Okay, so it's at 40 millimeters. We'll hit enter. Okay. Now, does the pane is active. Here's a problem I had when I did my other sketch. For some reason, every time I kept trying to draw on the plane, it kept disappearing on me. I'm like, what's going on here? Well, then I went down to the construction folder here, and I saw, oh, plane was deselected. So every time I was seeing this, but then when I selected it, it just disappeared. So this was what the problem was. So just make sure that's on if you're noticing it's missing. Okay, so we go to the top. We're going to create a new sketch on this pane here. And we're going to make a rectangle. And this one, just like the previous one we just did, we're going to make it be 15 by 18. So 18 tab 15, enter. And then dimensioner being here to here is going to be exactly, oops, I'm sorry, went here to be exactly 1 millimeter. And here to here should be 1 millimeter. Okay, hit enter. And you'll see that because we made that pane, if we come out here, we have a pane that's perfectly flat. So now we're going to go ahead and extrude this, and it's going to be, pay attention here, look at this. If I typed in that 15 now, you'll see that it's going up. We want it to go down, so we're going to change that to be negative 15. Okay, and then it goes to where we want it. Actually, it's got to be negative 14. Negative 14. There we go. Negative 14. And then again, we have it hanging out by 1 millimeter. Okay, hit enter because that piece is done. Now we're going to go ahead and hide this cube, which is body 1. And we're going to make our curve. So curve here, and fillet. And set that to be 7, enter. Now we're going to work on this face here, making our extrusion points. And this one is going to be create circle, find that midpoint, trying to find that little circle that appears right there. Make that be 8 millimeters and extrude it to 5. Whoops, hold on. Okay, 5. Enter. And there we go. We got the first one done. Now you'll notice on the next one, you're going to have to hide the other body as well. So the other cube has to be hidden. So you can just see the this piece again. If you zoom out, you'll see all the other joints that you made, but you won't see the 2 cubes. So we're going to flatten out here, flatten our surface, and create a new sketch, a circle. Boom. Set it to 8, enter, and Q for extrusion to 5. And once again, there we go. So all our joints are ready. Oh, hold on. Except for one. Yeah, see, I never made the bottom of this one. Stupid me. Okay, so go to the bottom here. Let's make the bottom of this one real fast, and then we'll go ahead and continue. So circle, find our special hole right there. Make it 8. And another circle. Right there. Make it 8. And Q for extrude. To 5. Okay. There we go. That looks way better. So now there's all our joints. All our joints have been made. And now what we have to do is we have to go ahead and make our holes that these would be going into. And that's going to be on the cubes. So we'll go ahead and select our body again, our cube bodies. And we have to make a hole so that these little pegs will sit in it. So what we'll do first, we'll do these ones first. So we'll hide this this piece here, which is body 3. So hide you, and I'm gonna come down a bit here. We'll select this wall. We'll hit create a sketch. We'll create a new circle again, and this time just click the surface and start making your circle. It's going to be a total of 10 in diameter. Select that. Now we're going to use our dimensioner, and we're going to select the spot in the middle and then the top edge, and this is going to be a value of 7. Okay, because remember it's 14 thick, and we want the tops to be flushed. So it's going to be the joint is 14 millimeters thick. The whole space is 15. We want it so that the top is perfectly flushed, so that like you barely even notice that it's there. So 7 should be our gap, and then we have to do the same over here to these two pieces here. Make that be 7 as well. Okay, and then we're going to extrude that to -5 because it's going in instead of pulling out. If we put it at 5, it'll come out. So hit enter. There we go. So now we have a hole. Now before I continue, I'm just going to show you the joint that's in there. And if we look really, really closely here, you should see there's a gap right there. See that gap? If we come over here, you still see the gap. So yeah, so we have a perfect circle in there. There's a millimeter border, just so that we have some space to play. Like in this one, it's got a little bit of jiggle around to it, so we kind of want that little bit of play space just so that we can do our motions. So like the fold. If we don't have that bit of play space, then it's going to be like rubbing to get it to work. So, and we want to have that play space. So we'll go ahead and hide body 3 again here. And if you notice, I just keep referencing them as their body number. You can go ahead and select these and make them say cube or whatever you need to. I don't care. Just because I know like whatever piece is right now. And we're not making like a fortune of pieces. I'm just gonna make it like this. Let's see, where am I at? Okay. Actually, let's do this other side here first. Select, add, circle, 10 millimeter, enter, D for dimensioner, select, make it 7, select, and make it 7. Okay, and then Q, select, -5, enter. Okay, so we're gonna go around now. I'm gonna quit repeating what I just did. I'm gonna quit like saying what I'm doing, and what I want you to do is just go ahead and just keep doing this. Fast forward ahead a few minutes, figure out where I stopped at, but just go ahead and remake these circles, and do it on every point where a joint's gonna be poking through. All right. Well, I'm done making all my holes. So if you're not, pause the video and get it finished. Um, but mine are all done, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next step. Pause if you need to, and then come back. But we're moving on to the next step, which is finalize making the rest of our pieces. So we pretty much have everything made that we have to craft. From here on out, it's pretty much just copying. Now, rather than doing Control C, Control V, we're going to be doing what's called a mirror. So at the moment, we only have this little corner here. Okay? So we have a corner that is showing. What we're going to do first is we're going to mirror to make this top half here. Okay? After that, what we'll do is we're going to do another mirror, and we'll make the bottom half. Okay? So first step, take this. We're going to mirror it to make this. Okay? And then we're going to mirror all this and make all of this. So, here's what you got to do. First, we're going to, we have to make new panes. There's going to be two different panes we have to create. First one is going to be, we'll select this wall here, and then we're going to hit Construct. Okay? And then hit OK. And as you see, we have a new pane that's crafted right on that border there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select all our pieces because we're working with all of our pieces. So we'll select body 1, hold shift, body 5. Next, we have to select the mirroring tool. Cool thing in Fusion, if you press the S key, you get a toolbox here. Now what we can start typing is mirror. So M-I-R, and then we have mirror. Select that. We have our objects, 5 selected, which is the bodies. Next, we have to select our mirror pane. So hit select. And then we have to select our pane right there. And then you'll see a shadow appear. And the shadow is kind of giving you kind of a first glimpse at what your product might look like after you proceed. Operation being join. What that's going to do is it's either going to try to join it together if there's any points that connect, otherwise it'll be a whole new body. So just leave it at join, hit OK, and there we go. And as you see, look at this, it actually made this be one solid piece. Okay, so this is all one piece, almost exactly like this piece. Okay, so same exact thing. It's a perfect match. So now we have that one done. We can go ahead and hide that plane there. Next step is we have to mirror all this. And if you didn't notice, look at this. It actually did a full-on mirror. Like it's a full reflection of the piece we already made. It pretty much took it and said, okay, here's what you have. I'm going to mirror you. So they're both exactly the same, just like my hands being exactly opposite to each other. Okay? So I just imagine that's a joint. It's a perfect mirror. So we're going to do the same down here, though. So we're going to select, we'll select this piece here. We're going to go construct, hit enter. So our pane is created. Next, we have to select all 9 pieces. Okay. And again, S, mirror, click. 9 pieces selected. We hit the select key, select our pane, and then as you see again, we have a shadow appear. So our shadow looks like it's in good shape. We'll go ahead and hit OK, and boom, there we go. We have a full-on cube here, and so that's our product, our final product. You can look in here and you'll see all the joints are right. When this prints, you got to know like how much play space we have here. We have a millimeter any space that they're supposed to be. So like even inside our little cylinder or little sports here, if I hide the cube here for a second, there is actually a millimeter between here and the inside of the cube. So that there's like a little bit of left and right jiggle. So we can kind of jiggle it left and right, and we can jiggle it forward and backward, just to have some play space. We want to have that play space so it would work. Now, if I would have done this a little differently, something else would be if I made all these cubes be separate, like bodies, like rather than being single bodies, we have complete separate bodies. Then I think you can do assembly. I don't know. I haven't really done assembly, so we'll say 12, body 12, and body 10. I believe you can click assemble. No components in design. You cannot use joint until there are 2 or more components to assemble in the design. So yeah, because this is just a single component, we're kind of stuck with that. In order to make a separate component, we'd have to go in and be like, hold on, create components from bodies. Or we have to go to unsaved here, hit new component, and we call it cube 2. Cube 2. Hit OK. Okay, so we have cube 2. As you see, this is all now like a how do you put it? Like a X-ray vision in a way. And what we have to do here, what we do is if we made our first cube, then we make our second cube in this view, and then we make our joint, our joint, and our joint. So we'd have a total of 5 different components rather than just all of it being one solid component. If we did that, then we can actually show, we could create an animation that will actually show the cube in action, pivoting on the joints. That's how some animations are actually made, is through like these pivoting axes. So pretty much right now we have a full-on device. I'm going to go ahead and delete this because that was just a sampler. But that is our final product right there again. It's the same exact thing as I showed in the beginning of the video. I hope you learned something here, because this is kind of a, I'd say this is a great beginner's project. It goes pretty fast. Yeah, I would suggest try this out, see how you like it. Start playing around with Fusion and stuff. This stuff's useful to know. I mean, you can make all kinds of things in Fusion. A lot of devices are made in Fusion. I actually plan to make a rough draft of a robot I plan to build in Fusion. Probably the body of my Beetleweight battle bot will be made in Fusion. We'll see. But give Fusion a try. Have fun with it. One of the biggest things that'll get you at first with Fusion, though, is the price, okay? You'll instantly look at it and be like, oh my gosh, it's $300 a freaking month. Yeah, it's a ripoff, okay? It's very expensive, and it's because this is used in professional industries. Not a lot of buyers use this tool. Luckily, there is a personal, not for commercial use edition, okay? It's the same exact website. It's the same exact app. It's just some features are taken away, I guess. I don't know what features, but if you want to get Fusion 360, it's simple. Fusion 360. Okay, go to Autodesk Fusion 360 official website. You got a free trial, okay? Now this is the $495 per year trial. This is like if you were getting the full thing. Look at that, $60 a month. That is just ridiculous. Luckily, you can set up to be a full-on solo operating system. Okay, so full-on free. Okay, completely free. And all you have to do, the trick is just go look for Fusion 360 personal use. Okay, And then you'll find this tab saying Fusion 360 for personal use. Select that. And then Fusion 360 for personal use. Fusion 360 for personal use is a limited free version that includes basic functionality and can be renewed on a 3-year basis. So that's saying every 3 years I can renew it, okay? That's just saying I have to re-register. Now here, let's see, take a look at some of the differences. First off, limited cam functionality. 2 and 3 axis milling, we have that. Adaptive clearing, turning, FFF additive manufacturing, not sure what that is. Water jet, laser jet, plasma cutter. Okay. Apparently we don't have access to milling, mill turning, setup probing, automatic tool change, rapid feed. Yeah, honestly, I don't really care for all that. Single user data management only. So rather than being able to work with teams and stuff, you're stuck only to yourself. 10 active and editable Fusion 360 documents. Unlimited inactive documents. So if I set a document to be inactive, that means like, okay, I'm done crafting it. It's inactive. We can save it. Okay. View only public share links. So not too sure what that would do. Commenting, markups. Limited electronics and PCB designs. So you have 2 schematics, 2 layers, 80 centimeter squared board area. And then unified electronics and PCB design, 999 schematics, 16 layers, and unlimited board area. Okay. Limited 2D documentation and drawings, single sheet support and print only. Full TD document and drawings, multi-sheet support, 3 file exports, company templates. Yeah, forum support only for personal, phone, email, and forum for the other version. Local rendering, local and cloud rendering. Export file types. You have all export file types in Fusion 360 for personal use, plus DWG, DXF, IGES, and SAT. Generally, if you're doing 3D printing, you just want an STL anyway. So, import file types. Looks like you got a lot more imports than this has, but you still can import from other products. So, honestly, if you don't need any of this other stuff, get the personal version. It did everything I needed to just to make this little video. But I'd say that is it. That's all we have. We made our cube. I'm not 3D printing that right away because at the moment my 3D printer's got a little bit of a clog to it, so I need to get that fixed. But yeah, you get to kind of experience making something in 3D software. Now, I've never really tried using the Microsoft included 3D software because there is on Microsoft 3D Paint, I believe, or Paint 3D. I don't care for the update. But yeah, I haven't really tried the Paint 3D, but I'm sure it works almost as well as Fusion 360, probably. I don't know. Never tried. But there's also other tools out there, even Blender. I don't know if you know what Blender is, but Blender is a kind of a 360 design tool. It's primarily used for making video games, but it has the ability to export STL files. Yeah, give that one a try. Autodesk for complete amateurs. This is actually where I started. There's a website out there called Tinkercad. And Tinkercad is a free software. It's a free CAD. It's made by the same people that made the Autodesk Fusion. Okay? You click on that. And you can see, like, you can actually... how do I describe it? Oh, that's not the way I want to connect. I have it set up through Facebook. Go back. Go to Tinkercad. Okay, log in. Personal. More sign in. Facebook. So, let's see here. So yeah, here you go. Here's some designs I made in Tinkercad. Not too sure what this was. Oh, I see what this is. This is a little sign. It says "Don't touch." So it's just a little "Don't touch" sign. Paint is. Oh, it's gonna take a minute to load. Okay, there we go. So there you go. Don't touch. Slice touch. I don't know what else I was gonna write there. But I think it was for the 3D printer, just to, like, if I was taking it to a show or something, just so people could check out the printer and just be warning them, like, hey, do not touch this. We have the Title Blade, which is a BattleBot that I'm designing. I'm going to try moving that over to the other thing. We have the Death Claw, and the Death Claw is supposed to be full-on, heavy-scale BattleBot. This is supposed to be the BattleBot that would be, like, huge, ginormous. My hands probably got cut off there, but it'd be a huge BattleBot, giant. Lincoln Logs. Yeah, that took a little bit to make. It was kind of fun. I haven't tried 3D printing them yet, but I probably think I might someday. You got Hive, drawers, the Minecraft Dolphin. Yeah. Table design concept, Micromouse competition wall, so a Micromouse wall, radio knobs. This was for my dad's truck. SumoBot dimension tester. So this was for SumoBots. So BattleBot, SumoBots was kind of a form of BattleBot. This was just a dimension tester I had made just to make sure like everything fit right. Because you're limited only to a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter space. This was a chicken coop design I was making for someone. These are the workout tables that are in my dad's office. Not sure what that is. SumoBot. This actually was a real physical model that I made. This was for a competition for IEEE student activity conference. This was a part of it was a scratch kit, and I had to actually figure out how to use like just limited designs, because in Autodesk Tinkercad you're kind of stuck with just solid shapes. You can't really do everything we just did in the Autodesk Fusion. Micromouse can. So this was for the Micromouse competition, if I ever did that. This was kind of more of a more advanced version of it. I actually made it to where it said like I smell cheese and stuff. Not sure what's in there. Micromouse can of whoop ass. And this one, the design is actually made more multi-layered to where we have like just different controls in it. This was another SumoBot design, I believe. Then you have, this is like a keychain for college. Another supposed to be keychain for a body shop. Headphone holder. Yeah, so there's a lot of things you can do. There's also ideas out there, and if you're just getting started in 360 stuff and you just need some ideas, go to thingiverse.com, and you'll find all kinds of stuff, and people constantly upload stuff. Like this wasn't here last week. At least on the popular in the last 30 days, this wasn't showing. I know that existed already, but it wasn't showing on the screen. We got some nice little stackable stackable shelf things, I guess. Nice little Venom thing. But this stuff that people have made, and it's pretty awesome to see. Filament machine. So this is going to take quite a bit of work. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have. I don't really have anything else to share for this video. So if you watched the whole video, kudos to you. Thanks for watching, and be sure to, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Uh, from my Facebook family, thank you all for watching, and I can't wait till I start this job. And the start date is supposed to be on the 18th, I believe, or no, 15th is supposed to be the estimated start date, but it could be pushed a little earlier depending on how fast my background check comes back and all. So now I am checking out. Thanks for watching again. Goodbye.